What up, peeps? It's your boy Heckin. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing pickups number 16. Got a decent stack of games here to show you guys I got recently. First off, we're going to start with Gran Turismo 7 for the PlayStation 4. Now, I caught this when Best Buy had it on sale for 10 bucks. You know, I've been playing Gran Turismo games since I was like a little kid, and they're always pretty much the same. It's just they add more cars, and the graphics get better. A big game too, like a big install. But fantastic, and you can also play it with a steering wheel. You can also play it with PSVR 2, which I haven't done, but just playing with a controller, still a lot of fun. Next up, another PS4 game I got recently, and that's Need for Speed from 2015. This is made by the Ghost Studios, and you know, I heard mixed reviews about this game, but it's actually pretty sweet. I had heard that it was a lot like Need for Speed Underground for the PlayStation 2, and it kind of is, but it doesn't have the same vibe. Also, I don't think you could really control the soundtrack in this game, which I thought was a bummer because a lot of the songs I'm just not a fan of. But gameplay-wise, I mean, it's a Need for Speed game, so I mean, you're getting an arcade racing game. Story is okay. I mean, they use a lot of live-action film, which is kind of on par for like what Need for Speed's been doing the last, 10 to 20 years. But, it's still good, and I mean, if you could find it for like 20 bucks, play it. Or if you have EA Play, you could play it for, if you have like their $5.99 a month subscription. Next up, we got an Xbox One game, and that's Rise, Son of Rome. Now, you can pick this game up usually at Gamestop for like, I think $2.99 or $3.99. It's a hack and slash game. It's kind of like God of War or Dante's Inferno if you played those. But it's got a short campaign, but it's got a really good campaign. So if you find this out in the wild, be sure to pick it up. All right, next up, we got Xbox 360 game. I didn't realize that I bought a bunch of like racing games this month, but we got Midnight Club 3, or actually not Midnight Club 3, just Midnight Club Los Angeles Complete Edition. Rockstar was killing it during the 360 era with, Grand Theft Auto 4. They were coming off the PS2 with Manhunt 1 and 2. So I'm excited to give it a try. Want to see how similar to Need for Speed it is. Actually, it looks like there's a lot better customization in this game, or at least you could get hydraulics and stuff, so that's cool. All right, now if you caught me on the PlayStation Ain't Dead live podcast, then you already seen a couple of these games, but this one is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks for the PlayStation 2. This is an awesome co-op game. It's not like Mortal Kombat like fighting and stuff. It's more like an adventure fighting game. Get it while it's still cheap, relatively cheap. I believe I paid like 20 bucks for it, maybe less, but totally a good game. All right, now we got a cartridge game, if you can believe that. The original Metal Gear for the NES. As you all know, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and so gotta have this, right? It's okay. I mean, it's an NES game, but it is still a stealth game. There's a lot of dialogue in it, but it's all reading. There's no voice acting, obviously, because the NES didn't really have that. Also, if you have the Metal Gear Solid collection that's came out recently on like the Xbox and the PlayStation and the Switch, this is on there. But this is also really cheap. So, I mean, you could get this probably for like 10, 15 bucks if you see it. The Shenmue 1 and 2 collection, I recently just picked up Shenmue 2 for the original Xbox. But I might actually just play this version since it's like the, remastered or enhanced version. This actually has the full first game and second game. It's still sealed. I haven't opened it yet. But these games are really great if you like free roam games that are set in Japan. And, a lot of kung fu fighting and stuff like that. I believe, if I remember correctly, Shenmue 2 had a lot of quick time events, and not necessarily like actual gameplay of you fighting. But it's really cool, and there's a lot of shops and stuff that you can interact with in the game, so you can end up spending hours and hours playing this game. And then I went ahead in the same week and got Shenmue 3, which I haven't played yet, but I mean, I know if it's anything like Shenmue 2, which is the one that I've played, then it's going to be great. And it's going to look great because it's on PS4. All right, these next 4 games I got from GameStop when they were doing the 4 for $40 on any games that were like $20 or less. 3 PS4 games, 1 Xbox One game. PS4 collection, it's a little smaller than the Xbox collection, or at least it was. It looks like I've been giving them extra love. But I'm just more inclined to buy PlayStation 4 games now and 5 games because I have the Portal. But yeah, basically I've been buying a lot of PS4 and PS5 games because of the Portal. Also, this was pointed out to me in the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast by Sean as well, but he was not a fan of me having the PS4 and PS5 games mixed together. But I mean, the thing is, is they run on the same system, so like, why not? Still a lot of games on the PS4 and PS5 that I need to actually play that I bought, like God of War Ragnarok. Hell, I need to actually finish God of War. Or how about I need to finish The Last of Us Part 2, or I need to still finish Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Hogwarts Legacy, which is actually a pretty sweet game if you're not a little bitch. But anyways, these next games, like I said, 4 for $40 deal from GameStop on games that were $20 or less. I got 3 PS4 games, starting with Dynasty Warriors 9, which is the only Dynasty Warriors game that I know of that is only one player. But, you know, if you're not familiar with this series, it's a hack and slash, you know, kind of adventure game, kind of like 99 Nights if you played that. But something tells me that you've probably played this before you've played 99 Nights, just because they've been making this game over and over for like 10, actually it's way longer now, like 30 years now. Some other games that are similar to it would be like Warriors of Rachi and Samurai Warriors, Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors Gundam. They're all fun. They're all like mindless, beat up a big group of people and do cool combos and stuff. All right, next up we've got Death Stranding, another Hideo Kojima game. I've played a couple hours of this. Looks amazing, man. The graphics in this game are awesome. Gameplay's a little slow. I've played, like I said, a couple hours, so I don't know if that's how it's going to be for the whole game or if eventually there's going to be more to it. But either way, it's a good narrative to go through, and I have fun with it. All right, so when I was doing my 4 for 40, I was trying to pick out games that I haven't played, but I've heard that are pretty good. And one of those games I ended up getting was Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks fun, you know, based on the back of it here. Looks like you fight big-ass monsters and stuff. And I like fighting big-ass monsters. They kind of look like tech dinosaurs from Ark or something. I'm sure it'll be worth $10, because when you think about it, you buy 4 for $40, it's like $10 a piece. All right, and then the last one that I got from the 4 for $40 deal was Cyberpunk 2077. Now, you know, this game was overhyped when it first came out, and ended up being a real big bust on what was promised. Game barely worked, but I figured it's been like 4 years, so it's probably good by now, I hope. And then the final 2 games that I want to show you are kind of like personal grails for my collection. First, that being a fighting game for the Nintendo Wii. This game's not really that expensive, but it's not one that you see all the time, and that's Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. If you haven't had the chance to play this game, I highly recommend it. It plays a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But yeah, like I said, it's not really an expensive game. It's around 40 bucks. It's just one that you don't see all the time. So it took a while for me to actually find somebody that had it, but thankfully one of the dudes that I buy from all the time was able to spot this at his local GameStop. And he actually sold it to me for cost. So that was cool. And then the last game, like I said, if you watched the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast, you've already saw what it is. It's a PlayStation 1 game. It's a series that needs to be remade or like brought back. Made by Capcom. Plays a lot like Resident Evil, except it's a dinosaur game, and that's Dino Crisis 2. Now with Dino Crisis 2 and Dino Crisis 1, like I said, it plays a lot like Resident Evil. It's a survival horror game where you're stuck like in an area with limited ammunition and resources, and you have to like make your way through and do puzzles and stuff, while also having to deal with dinosaurs. Now the main character, Regina, from the first game, this chick right here, they actually do a little bit of a switcheroo with this game because you end up playing as a dude named Dylan. I also say this game is a lot shorter than the first one, but it's still a great time. I actually ended up beating this one as a kid before I beat the first Dino Crisis game. So it was more of like a run and gun kind of shooter with some puzzles in it. But just so you know, I mean, I did end up beating the original Dino Crisis multiple times years later. And also I will say that the story to Dino Crisis 2 gets a little crazy at the end of it. And then like Dino Crisis 3 on the Xbox, I still need to get a copy of that game. I've never played it, and I've only heard bad things about it, so that kind of makes me want it even more. But yeah, guys, that's it, man. That's everything that I got for this pickups video. Hope you liked it. Make sure you drop a comment if you got any game recommendations for me. And man, we got a nice game collection here. And by we, I mean me. Sorry, I don't mean to say we as in like we're owning all these games together when we really aren't. But I'm impressed with it, man. And you know, all it did was it took time and it took a lot of money. It's nice to have just a wall of games that I love. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I really love this one, but it's pretty good. That's it for today, man. Catch you next time.